Hey there, Taurus. Welcome to your reading for November 2025. We are going to jump right in here. You have this card that says it's time to release negativity, and this card that says it's time to believe in the impossible. It actually just says believe in the impossible, but I'm going to change it because I said so, and we're going to say it's time to believe in the impossible. Again, I've probably said this to you before, but with Neptune and Pisces, this is kind of like our last chance to at least get started on the big impossible dream. I would set some sort of ridiculous goal at this time. I think this is true for everyone, but definitely true for you here, Taurus, because whatever your goals are will probably have to do with freedom or setting you free, which has been your theme all year. And, obviously that would be a good thing. So I would kind of make it happen. Make it happen, Captain, right? You start here in your current general energies with the Star, the Death card, and the Justice card. The Star, and we're going to, both of these, I don't know if you just saw that, but they both kind of came out together, but they fell back onto the pile. But we're going to take both, and they're good, and I'm glad I did, because they're good cards anyway. So there you go. But the Star, it could be your wish or something that you're wishing for here, Taurus. I feel it is a good time for Taurus to really look at the big picture, really kind of zoom out. We have this bird here. The bird is the ibis. It's a bird of knowledge and wisdom. But the Star sometimes I feel can just represent really looking at the big picture of your life, looking at everything you've accomplished, looking at the things you want to accomplish, and kind of gaining that higher perspective. It's like seeing a better map of your life when we zoom out with the Star card. When you're looking at things from down here, you can't really necessarily see where you're going, but if you zoom out, you might be able to find or discover a better way of accomplishing what you're trying to accomplish. I would also say, with Mercury retrograde in November, pretty much the entire month, we're in the shadow right now. It starts on the 9th to the 29th of November. It's basically the entire month. So I feel, of course, Mercury retrograde is a great time for self-care, healing, doing nice things for yourself, giving yourself a break, anything like that would be pretty good. You have the Death card here. I feel clarity. We have these two pillars from the moon that show up on the Death card. And sometimes I feel that those two pillars are kind of representing clarity on the Death card because the sun is coming up instead of the moon between those two pillars. And, sometimes I feel it could represent you gaining clarity on where you're going or what you're doing. I do feel like there could be some distractions this month for you, Taurus. The moon card, we don't have the moon card here, I'm just saying. And you end with the sun, which is great clarity. But, the two pillars, they represent, on the moon card, represent a distraction to the Fool. And really, they kind of tell the Fool that he needs to complete his journey and not give up on something. So I do feel like anything you're working on, anything that you want to finish, this is more specifically, let me back up a second here, Taurus. This is more specifically for those of you that need to finish something. It's like if you have been working on a project or if you're closing something out, I think this would be a really good month for you to make that a focus instead of just being like, oh, I'll finish this later. For whatever reason, I feel like the Death card is saying, no, finish things now that need to be finished so you can get rid of them and get them done, right? And that's basically what I would do with this card. You have the Justice card. Yeah, kind of a weird message. It's I feel like you shouldn't be focusing on fairness. I'm not saying that you should tolerate things that aren't fair. That's not not where we're going for. But it's sometimes I think we can focus too much on things being fair and when, if things are not fair, right? And I feel like this is saying, there might be some things that just seem like they're not fair, and maybe they aren't. Maybe you have to work harder to get attention right now, or maybe you have to work harder than anyone else to, rise to the top of your career or in business or whatever. And there's something about that popping into my head with the Justice card where it's saying, maybe things aren't fair at the moment, especially in work is kind of what I feel based off of what's showing up here. plus my intuition. But, I feel like it will be worth it, even though it's not fair. It's like if you're having to work 10 times harder than anyone else, it's like, yeah, maybe that's not fair. But at the same time, I feel that it will make you like 10 times stronger and it will be worth it in the future. I hope that makes sense. But I'm getting something about, yeah, things aren't fair, especially in work. Maybe you're having to do extra work, but, there is a reason, With the Star card, you have the Four of Pentacles. Yeah, definitely not time to play it safe, for sure. The Four of Pentacles, I always feel he is just playing it safe. He's staying where he is. He's staying in his comfort zone. And he has those Four of Pentacles, but he's got something that he's afraid to let go of because he's afraid he won't be able to do anything better. You have that card that says, believe in the impossible. Four of Pentacles, I always feel that the solution for him is that he needs to exceed his expectations, but he feels like he can't exceed his expectations, but he has to take the risk of doing that anyway. So, it's like if you're trying to make more money, it's like maybe you would have to take bigger risks in business, but you could be fearing that if you do, that you're going to lose what you have. That is his fear, that if he takes a bigger risk, he's going to lose everything. But that's life, right? And so that's the risk he has to take. And clearly you have the opportunity to take a risk. And yes, with the Death card, you have the Five of Swords. Literally could just be saying that you're walking away from something. And we do have the Ten of Swords here, of course, which can also represent walking away from something. But the Five of Swords is a card of taking a risk, or kind of putting yourself out there, choosing to win. And, I feel like some of you maybe have to choose to win at this time. With the Justice card, you have the Hangman. Yeah, it's all perspective, really. This first row is really all about your perspective. Even, again, the Star is about having a bird's eye view, which is a different perspective. He is looking at things from upside down on the Hangman. And because of that, he is gaining enlightenment. So it's sometimes I think we want life to be easy, but also sometimes the hard things are what make us successful. And, that might be the new perspective that you are gaining. I kind of feel good about this because, just the clarity in the reading literally could be saying that you've been through the hard part and now you're seeing why. And, that could be good. Next, if I can get these cards in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Debt card. It says, are you in the driver's seat with your debt, or has your debt taken over and placed you in shackles? We'll definitely talk about that. You have this Retreat card. It says, sometimes taking a break is the best thing you can do to gain clarity and a fresh perspective. Damn. Everything we talked about in the first row, taking a break, all that stuff, right? So it could be a good break month for you. Debt is going to be a big thing for you, Taurus, because Uranus is going to be retrograding into your sign next month, or I should say in November. Sorry, I'm doing these readings in October, so, November. We are reading for November. That does not mean you're going to be in debt. Uranus and Taurus wants you to set yourself free, so anything you can do to correct any debts or fix debts or negotiate debt or, do something about it. You don't have to be perfect. You don't even have to be paying it off. You just have to do something, right? That could include, maybe you can't pay a debt, but, maybe you can just go out and learn about how to be better with your money, or how to do how to negotiate the debt, or, whatever, right? There's tons of information out there for free on YouTube, especially, where you can learn how to solve these problems. And so, again, it's not about being perfect, which is what I tell everyone. Whenever I say something like this, people always tell me, I have debts, but I can't pay them. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But there are, things that you could learn. You could learn how to be a better saver. There's, a billion saving techniques on YouTube, right? It's you don't have to be perfect. You just have to try it. Again, what I have learned in life, and call me crazy, Taurus, but what I have learned is that I just have to implement something. I don't have to be perfect. And then it just seems like the universe moves out of the way because you're solving the problem. You're doing something, even if you're not perfect. And I feel like that's what this is talking about. You have the Magician, the Five of Cups, and the Four of Cups, also in the area of what's coming in for you. The Magician is about manifestation. He's pointing down towards the Ace of Pentacles in this reading. So the Ace of Pentacles could be a really big financial opportunity that helps you solve your debts, right? The Magician could be anything. He has mastery over all the suits in the tarot. He has all these tools in front of him here. And, that's kind of what I'm focused on for you, Taurus, is using the right tool for the job. And anything that you're doing this month, And, he might be trying to use his logic with the swords, but, maybe he needs to use the pentacles. And maybe that doesn't have to be money. The pentacles could be his time, effort, attention, energy. Could just be nurturing an opportunity that comes your way. That could be the thing that really changes your life this month. And that's what I would focus on with the Magician. The other thing I'm getting with the Magician is that you've already asked for something. It's like maybe you've already asked for better finances, and it's like the universe is just waiting for you to, again, like implement some sort of saving technique or to go do something on the side to make extra money or something along those lines, right? And, that's really what I feel could be happening with this card. You have the Five of Cups. I do feel we have to be careful of regrets this month. There's too much, I think there's too much past energy this month, of course. Mercury retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Saturn retrograde, So, I think that alone, Uranus, of course, I think that could be making people think about past regrets. The problem with Neptune, especially in Pisces retrograde, is it's like the illusion of the past. It's like the Neptune in Pisces, the past is trying to dissolve. But when Neptune is retrograding in Pisces, we could be thinking about things from the past or things that happened. And it's like those things are trying to dissolve, but at the same time, we're focusing on it. So we're thinking more about it and we're attracting more of it. And it's like we have to break that illusion from Neptune and Pisces, and we have to focus more on the things that are trying to kind of like come in at this time. I think there's a lot of energy that's trying to come into the world, but we have to allow it. You have the Four Cups. Four Cups is like fearing a disappointment. He has tried to manifest something 3 times before, and now he's getting another option or another opportunity, but he's not accepting it because he has failed like 3 times before. So I always say the trick with the Four Cups is to realize that you have learned what you needed to learn from these 3 cups, and you just have to try something again. And obviously, there could be a pretty big opportunity coming in for you this month. The Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, Sun. This kind of looks like, it's almost like an out. It's almost like, one of those movies where the people in the movie are like trapped in a dark forest, and it's like you're finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. That's almost how I feel about this reading. With the Magician, you have the Temperance card. It's like I almost get like more of a speed up energy here for you where you need to speed things up. It's like I said, I feel the universe is kind of like not really tapping its foot. I don't think the universe is impatient, but I do feel like the universe is kind of like saying like, okay, come on, Taurus, you've already fixed some of these issues. Now it's time to like implement the solution. You already know what to do or something. He has this path right here, the path to glory. He could easily just go claim his crown. And so I feel like your next step is action here. Next, with the Five of Cups, you have the Ace of Cups again. So definitely could be a love offer for those of you that want it. The Ace of Cups is also about getting into a better feeling place. The Ace of Cups can easily fill itself back up below it. And so it's kind of like a never-ending, it's fulfilling is the word I'm looking for. It can fulfill itself, that cup. And so the Ace of Cups wants us to do things that fill ourselves up. And I would do more of those things. With the Four of Cups, you have the 4 cups. Basically, the universe saying I meant what I said. So the 4 cups is, again, needing to try something again, which I think would be very helpful for you. There's clearly like an opportunity that could be coming in for you now. If you're watching this early, this video will be published on October 26th. So if you're watching it before November, even like the first week of November or so, really the retrograde doesn't start until November 9th. So if you get an opportunity between now and then, I would take it. I think it would be very much worth it for you here, Taurus. Next, in the area, we can't make this up, in the area of messages from your future self, you have this Uranus card. It says change on it, of course. You have this Cancer card. It says immerse on it. Yeah, it's like I've been getting this message. It may be for you for a while that, if you're going to do something, you really have to become the thing that you're trying to be. Again, I think the problem with manifestation, for example, is that people think they can just think about what they want and then they're going to get it. But it's like, no. You have to send that vibe out there. You have to think about it, but then you have to, make the changes in your personal life to make it happen. It's like why, people always ask me like why they can't win the lottery. I'm like, well, are you the type of person that can handle money? Because if you're not, then you're not going to win, right? You have to match the energy of what you want. You have to develop good money habits. You have to do whatever rich people do. I don't know. You have to kind of do all the positive side of that. And if you do that, if you immerse yourself in that world, if you become the thing, then you will have it, whatever it is. So whatever you want, I think you really need to kind of make it your lifestyle, and you have to make it something that is who you are. And that's what this energy is asking you to do. Taurus, make sure to leave a comment, by the way, it really helps me out. You have the Ten of Swords, the Ace of Pentacles, and the Wheel of Fortune. Ten of Swords says something is dead, done, over with. I feel it's your old story. 2025 seems to be the year that Taurus is getting rid of its old story. Makes sense. This is the year of the snake this year. And so I think a lot of people are kind of shedding their skin, changing their story. And this will probably be a blessing. Ten of Swords can represent a blessing in disguise. I 1000% think that there is some sort of blessing in disguise that you are seeing this month. Like I said at the beginning of the reading, it seems to me like you're seeing why something was harder for you than everybody else with that Justice card. Or you're seeing why something took you longer to understand, or whatever it is. And I feel like it's going to be worth it, because what you're doing is actually going to last. I think that is the benefit. Sometimes if we, maybe other people around us in work or business, maybe they seem to understand something faster, or they pick something up quicker. And it's yeah, that's great. But, it's maybe because something has been a little bit of a struggle for you, you're actually going to be better at it in the long run because you had to work harder at it. And that's kind of what I feel here. You have the Ace of Pentacles, definitely a big opportunity. I kind of feel this will be coming in for you between now and before the retrograde, like I said, the beginning of November. And so if there's any opportunities, anything that you're thinking about starting or working on, I would definitely accept that opportunity. Ace of Pentacles is always a very good, solid opportunity that could lead to a lot of success or abundance. And like I said, money is definitely going to be a theme for you for years to come. Here, Taurus, it's time for Taurus to make money, of course. But, again, it's going to be something that you work on. It's going to be something that you nurture, that you use all your Taurus energy on, that you make Taurus-like. And if you do that, you will be successful. You have the Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, very interesting. Wheel of Fortune, I'm about halfway done with the November readings now, and I'm pretty sure almost everybody's had the Wheel of Fortune. So there could be some sort of lucky break for people this month, or people could feel like they're getting a lucky break. The Wheel of Fortune can be a change in your fortunes, and yours definitely look good. The end of your reading is very positive, so I feel for a lot of you could be a change in your fortunes. But again, I think for you, Taurus, what I would be doing is that Cancer card that says immerse on it. I would be really being in, surrounding yourself with the energy of what makes you, or of the life you want, right? So you have to learn about it. You have to adopt the habits. You have to go learn whatever it is you want. If you want love, money, a more spiritual life, whatever, you have to go do those things, right? And even, people always say, I don't have money. I'm well, these things can be free. Do anything for free that you can do, right? Like I said, we don't have to be perfect. If we want to be a billionaire, we don't have to exactly live the life of a billionaire. We just have to match it as much as we possibly can. And that's what I would do with that card. With the Ten of Swords, you have the Seven of Pentacles. Yeah, definitely a change in direction. I feel like you're seeing that something isn't worth it. I kind of feel this is I have the word critical eye popping into my head here, Taurus. I feel that let me just say this. Let me organize this thought for you here, Taurus. It's what I am seeing for Taurus is I feel like you are going to have this eye, your eyes can see things that other people can't. Maybe it's actually in your head, right? It's in work. It's maybe you notice that people are doing things the hard way. And, I think that could be the opportunity, could be very subtle, where it's you see things that other people aren't seeing. I don't know, kind of a weird message, but I would be paying attention because you might be discovering much better ways of doing things, and I would be doing them because that's probably where your success is going to come from. With the Ace of Pentacles, you have the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, teamwork makes the dream work for sure for Taurus, and also, it's time for Taurus to put their work on display. It's time to show off, and it's time to kind of, let me back up again. I'm getting very weird messages for you in this reading, but like, I feel like you do somewhat have your like finger on the pulse, so to speak, especially in work or business or whatever you do for money. It's like it's almost like you're sensing things. But I also feel like some of you aren't. I think you need to pay attention to like feedback in work, pay attention to the pulse, pay attention to what's happening in the world and, all this other stuff. I don't really have any good examples for you, Taurus, other than like sometimes, people in my YouTube group, I will tell them like what videos they should focus on, and they'll come up with some sort of, and I say this directly to their face. So people always say, you're rude for talking behind these people's backs. I'm like, no, I say this directly to their face on calls every single weekend. I call people out. That's who I am. So don't worry. I've said this directly to these people. It's like they'll try to do something, they'll come up with some sort of crazy idea, and I'll tell them that probably won't work, or maybe could. And I always tell them, you can do that if you want, and they'll have some sort of resistance to like doing what works for whatever reason. And I'm like, yes, but what works for a reason. Right? And so I feel like the Three of Pentacles is, long story short, I think that it's telling you to do what works, even though you might have some other more unique, innovative ideas, which is fine. You can still do those ideas, but, in work or business or whatever you do. But I also think that it's saying that you have to also do what works because it works for a reason. And I don't know, someone needs to hear that. With the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Six of Swords, definitely improvements. I'm happy to see this after the Five of Swords and the Ten of Swords for sure. This would say that you're moving on to calmer shores. Next in the area of the good stuff, you have this Dolphin Spirit. It says, stop taking life so seriously and splash some joy in your everyday life. Three of Pentacles. On the Three of Pentacles, we have this lady with these polka dots on her cloak, and the polka dots in the tarot represent taking things too seriously, needing to be more playful. You have this Libra card. It says new love. It says a new romantic relationship is unfolding that will be deeply meaningful to you. We don't really see a ton of love in this reading. I mean, yeah, we have the Ace of Cups twice and the Six of Cups, but, this could be something where it's like maybe it's entering into your life now, but, maybe it doesn't really become a relationship until the future or something. But I do feel, you've been getting pretty good love cards this year, but, maybe this month, maybe not. But although it's showing up. You have the Ace of Cups, the Sun, the Hangman, and the Six of Cups. This is obviously very positive. I mean, it is very good for love. So if you want love, there could be a happy connection. I do feel like the whole entire reading is encouraging. This is what I would call an environment reading, because the reading itself, like if I were to just, according to Chris's crappy tarot here, if I were to make this reading very simple, I would say that the reading wants you to be in the energy of what you want, right? And it wants you to surround yourself with that energy as much as possible, and to be in a happy place as much as possible, even if things aren't happy. It's like, how can you make yourself happy anyway? And that's what these two cards want you to do. So there you go. You have the Hangman. I would just be open to different perspectives. I would be open to, different ways of doing things. I think this is going to be very critically important next year when Neptune moves back into Aries in January, at the end of January. Neptune in Aries, I think, is going to make people just, become just like, basically it's looking for a savior. I think people will just be looking for a person who has all the answers, and we have to realize we have the answers. Number one, but we also have to be open to different perspectives. It's kind of like a little bit of a contradictory energy, because the energy itself says that we have to like go explore and find new ideas, but we shouldn't just accept what people say as gospel, right? We should test it for ourselves. And, that's basically what I would do with the Hangman. With the Six of Cups, I think they're, you have the Wheel of Fortune, Six of Swords, and the Six of Cups, which could represent some sort of turnaround. I love two sixes. Two sixes kind of says that you're going in the right direction, you're on the right path, and it's kind of like confirmation for your path, which is very good. But the Six of Cups can be a gift from the universe, and usually we get a turnaround. Here you go. With the Sun and the Ace of Cups, you have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, love, I don't know. It's like, I'm not sure how I feel about love for you this month. It just feels like a background thing, which again, that's not a problem here, Taurus. Like, if you're just... If it's a side effect, that I think that would be perfectly fine with you this month. But, it's here if you want it. So definitely could be a knight in shining armor. With the Hangman, you have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is normally stuck. It's a card of self-imposed restriction. But in the good stuff with the Hangman, it would kind of say you are seeing a way out. Like I said, it's like one of those movies, like in one of the Hobbits. You know, they get stuck in that forest where they can't find their way out, and they finally do. And so, you know, it's almost like you're finally finding your way out of the dark forest, right? With the Six of Cups, you have the Lovers. So a little bit of love at the end. I think that's how this month will go. You know, if you want love, I feel it'll be like love at the end. You know, maybe at the end of the month or, you know, closer to the end of the month, you meet a person. I'm not saying you're going to marry this person right away, but, you know, whatever. You have this dog card that says protection from a powerful friend. Three of Pentacles, very good card for the people who support you. And so a lot of you could be getting a lot of support. But I think we're in a time, especially when Neptune goes back into Aries. I think people are going to focus more on those, what I call concentrated connections, like the connections that really, really support you, really, really lift you up. You have this well card. It says family wishes come true. It is, you've been getting really good cards about family. So, you know, good things could be happening with family. You have this bridge. It says successfully overcoming a problem. That's what this reading seems to be about. It's like like I said, you're coming out of the dark forest. So I think that is the perfect analogy for this reading. You have this March card and this boat. It says money or property through an inheritance, winning or windfall. Yes, March is very interesting next year. Next year is very interesting in general. How do I feel about next year? I don't know. I am going to do yearly readings at the end of the year. But next, you know, we have like, you know, right at the beginning of the year, we have 10 conjunctions, which, you know, in the astrology, which I have, like I was looking the other day, a couple weeks ago at this, and it's been a very long time since we've had like 10 conjunctions, 10 planets all conjunct at this, you know, basically the same time, which is pretty weird. March is interesting because I feel it's going to be a little bit of a collective sigh of relief. You know, by the time we reach March, both Uranus and Saturn will have moved back into Aries, and you know, some other placements will have moved off as well. So, you know, I've talked about March before, and you know, could be a good time, right? And so between now and March, I would be doing the work on whatever you're working on. You have this July card, and you have this basket. It says recognition, reward for merit. So, you know, between now and July even, you could be working on a project that could bring you recognition or rewards in the future. So I really like this for you, Taurus. It looks very good. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your month.